should I donate my DNA to the US government so they can give it to scientists and splice it into rats or mice? They're going to be used for laboratory research. So, like, mice that are going to be dissected by scientists have little bits of my DNA. They're, like, running around in the lab with little bits of my DNA in them. Should I do that? Would that help to determine whether Evelyn or Eugene are going to inherit this eye condition from me? Would it help for them to get treated for it if they did happen to inherit it, and like at the age of almost 40 they were suddenly like risking losing vision in one eye like I am right now? People, I am like really, really, really sorry. I made a really big mistake. When I recorded the last video I uploaded, I accidentally, not on purposely, omitted 3 words. It caused certain viewers, possibly you, who may be watching this right now, to completely misunderstand what I was saying in my video. The 3 words I accidentally omitted were, or crack cocaine. So to be clear, after years of people making nasty comments on my videos about, like, any topic, like, it doesn't matter if I'm talking about, like, my own vagina, or the clothes I'm shopping for, or, like, a serious issue, like how COVID-19 was genetically engineered in the laboratory, and how I can prove it by talking about its genome. Like, regardless of what in the actual fuck I was talking about, people just kept accusing me of having caused this scar on my face by burning my own face while smoking methamphetamines. So I finally made a video about how I did not burn my own face smoking methamphetamines, but somehow mysteriously, while I was under general anesthesia, a dentist who's really an oral surgeon had accidentally or possibly purposely burned my face in some kind of freak accident. So of course somebody had to comment on my video and say that I'm lying and I actually burned my own face while smoking crack cocaine. So I'm sorry when I said that I wanted to dispel all rumors, and I didn't burn my own face smoking methamphetamines, but my face was actually burned by a dentist. I'm sorry I didn't say I didn't burn my face smoking methamphetamines or crack cocaine. So in this video I'm going to talk about why my eyes are crossed. Because, like, I'm tired of getting comments insinuating that I burned my own face by smoking some sort of drug that I've never done in my entire life because I have a congenital heart condition, and doing that drug one time probably would have killed me. I am also tired of the comments insinuating that I cross my own eyes because I'm like the retard girl cross-eyed in the schoolyard. Because I have 2 rare eye conditions, and one of them is so rare that the US government wants a sample of my DNA to give it to scientists. So in this video I'm going to talk about why I'm cross-eyed. And by the way, it's painless. Hi, being cross-eyed, the way I am. Because I'm not really cross-eyed. I have esotropia in one eye and pigment dispersal syndrome in the other eye.
Talk about rare.
And they're rare. Eugene even understands. But people watching this video are going to accuse me of, like, crossing my own eyes because I spoke too much, like, of something I don't want to mention in front of Eugene.
I just guessed.
So the rare eye condition I have in this eye that makes me look half cross-eyed in some of my videos is called esotropia. So you can have either esotropia or exotropia, and they're like the same thing. The only difference between esotropia and exotropia is that esotropia makes the muscles pull your eye inward toward your nose. Exotropia makes the muscles pull your eye outward the other way. They can do surgery. For some people, it fixes it. But for a certain percentage of people, maybe like 10% of people, it makes it worse, not better. Which is why I never had the surgery. And I look cross-eyed in my videos. What's wrong with my other eye, though? It's like way more rare. That's what I'm talking about, people. That's pigment dispersal syndrome. That means that, like, the part of my eye that makes my iris brown is physically breaking off of my iris, inside of my eye, and leaking out into the white of my eye. Which is, in case you're stupid, caused 100% by something in my DNA, not any drugs that I could possibly have done. Which actually may seem like a cosmetic issue to you, but could actually cause me to suddenly go blind in this eye. If one of those specks floats inside of my eye into like the wrong spot, I could need immediate emergency surgery or permanently go blind in that eye. So the US government wants a sample of my DNA because they want to isolate the gene that they think causes pigment dispersal syndrome, and they want to send it to scientists because the scientists are going to create humanized mice or rats. They're going to like take the gene from my DNA that they think causes pigment dispersal syndrome. They're going to splice it into laboratory mice or rats, and they're going to see if they develop pigment dispersal syndrome. If they do, they're going to breed them with each other and with mice or rats that have not had that gene spliced into their genome to determine whether the condition is hereditary and whether it is a dominant or recessive condition. So should I donate my DNA to the US government so they can give it to scientists and splice it into rats or mice? They're going to be used for laboratory research. So like mice, they're going to be dissected by scientists, have little bits of my DNA. They're like running around in the lab with little bits of my DNA in them. Should I do that? Would that help to determine whether Evelyn or Eugene are going to inherit this eye condition from me? Would it help for them to get treated for it if they did happen to inherit it? And like at the age of almost 40, they were suddenly like risking losing vision in one eye like I am right now? So in case you didn't believe me, I'm on the NIH's website, like NIH.gov, the National Institute of Health, a US government agency, like the one that Anthony Fauci leads. At NIH. That's what we're talking about here, people. And on this website, they're talking about pigment dispersion syndrome, also known as pigment dispersal syndrome, same difference, and research being done about it. You can even listen if you can't read, lo and behold. So following this link will bring you to pages that want samples of your DNA if you have this syndrome, because they're going to do studies like this one where they took the gene they thought caused this syndrome and gene spliced it into what you might know as humanized mice. Mice genetically engineered to have human DNA in a certain organ of their body, in this case their eyes, to see if the condition was hereditary and whether the gene was dominant or recessive. Yes, this is like what the NIH funds. Like seriously, like you could call this gain of function research if the function you're trying to get the mice to gain is leaky irises. But yeah, like they seriously like want my DNA And if I gave them my DNA, well, there would be like little lab mice running around with my DNA, being like vivisected by scientists. Like, I am not making this up. I am not kidding. Not at all, whatsoever. They really want to do this with my DNA. But like, seriously, they want to do this with my DNA. So no, I didn't burn my own face smoking no fucking goddamn crack. I know my eyes ain't cross-eyed because I smoked no goddamn fucking crack. They're cross-eyed because I have a rare genetic disorder that the US government wants to get a sample of to send to scientists to create humanized mice to determine whether the condition is hereditary and whether the gene that causes it is dominant or recessive. With that said, I am now going to end this video by asking you to explain to me in graphic detail how I developed pigment dispersal syndrome from smoking crack cocaine. Or freebasing it, actually. Because you said smoking, but people have smoked crack, they freebase it. Like, have you ever freebased a drug? I freebased a drug, but it wasn't crack or meth. I mean, there's a bug on my face. With that said, I am now going to end this video. Bye, people.